President, please be seated. The court is back in session. And again, the floor is given to the co-prosecutor to continue putting questions to the witness. However, notice defense counsel for the accused, Victor Coupe, is on his feet, and you may proceed, counsel.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I request Chamber permission to revisit the topic this morning for 2 minutes to share with you what we have established in relation to these DC Chem statements, because it is directly relevant also to this witness. If you allow me, I only need 1 or 2 minutes. So this morning, Mr. President, I raised the situation, the problem with these DC Chem statements, one of which I read to an excerpt to the witness of this morning. That was part, as I said earlier, of a batch of 66 DC Chem statements. And we have now established that of these 66 DC Chem statements, all of which have E3 numbers, only 13 statements are translated into English. As I said earlier this morning, none of them into French, but only 13 translated into English. It seems that all of these DC Chem statements are quite, or sometimes highly relevant to the witnesses of the dam site. So the question remains, we know that they are relevant because a week ago we received 64 summaries of these DC Chem statements. So the question now is, how should we proceed with documents that are very relevant to this segment of the trial, but which are only 13 out of 64 translated, are not translated, are only in Khmer. The question, of course, is who is responsible for the translation and how quick can the translation be done of these remaining 51 extremely important DC Chem statements on the dam. So that's the question that I would like to raise. I'm not sure if it's actually a problem of the prosecution or whether it's now in the hands of the trial chamber, because the trial chamber gave E3 numbers to all of these 64 documents on the 15th of June 2015.
President, thank you, counsel, for raising that concern. The chamber will consider the matter tomorrow. And the co-prosecutor, you may now resume your questioning.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, just one more question on the 3 arrests you just described. Were the people arrested members of your group?
On the issue of the arrest, yes, arrests were made in my unit.
And other than those 3 people, was anyone else arrested in your unit?
arrests were made in my unit and they were tracked out, and I did not see any other arrests besides the arrest that I mentioned.
Can you tell us, to your knowledge, what the total number of arrests made in your unit was?
I only knew about the arrest of the 3 workers from my unit, and I do not know about any other arrest. As I informed the court, we did not speak to one another on this issue, and when we returned from the work site, we simply slept and did not talk.
And were these 3 members of your 10-person group, your 30-person group, or the 90-person big unit?
The arrest was made in the small unit, that is the 30-man unit.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to turn now to your working hours. Can you tell us what your working hours were on a typical day at the Trapeang Tama Dam work site?
On the working hours, allow me to inform you that the working hours varied. Some workers would start waking one another up during the hard period at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we began working immediately. However, when it was not when the situation was not that demanding, we started working at around 5 o'clock in the morning. So, as I said, working hours varied. It could be from 5 o'clock in the morning and continued until 11 when we stopped for lunch. And then we started working again from 2 to 5. And after dinner, it was from 6 to 9. And that is the typical shift. That is the 3 shifts per day.
And just so I'm understanding you correctly, are you saying that you did the evening shift from 6 to 9 every day or almost every day?
The evening shift from 6 to 9 p.m. was during the time when the situation was demanding, or when there was an emergency to patch the dam, or to actually complete the remaining workload for the particular segment of the work site. So it was not a regular shift, but it was according to the need and the urgency of the workload. So we actually adhered to the instructions, and that we had to complete the work quota, and for that reason sometimes we had to engage in the evening shift.
And you've just mentioned your work quota. Can you tell us what your work quota was on a typical day?
According to the work plan, a quota was set at the beginning, which was 2 cubic meters per day. And if we could complete the work quota of the 2 cubic meter per day during the daytime, an additional 1 cubic meter was added for the evening shift. And if the rest of the workers in the unit could not complete the 3 cubic meters per day, then the person would be criticized, since other workers from other groups could complete the work quota, and that's how it went.
How far did you have to carry the soil that you would dig and transport to the dam?
It was about 10 meters away, that is to go from the ground up to the embankment of the dam.
And do you know how much each load of soil that you would carry would weigh?
It is difficult to tell you exactly the load. If we had to complete the work quota earlier, we had to put more load onto the baskets. So the load varied depending on the situation. However, usually at the beginning we would put more load onto the baskets, but once our strength became weaker, we put less into the baskets.
And what about your food ration? Can you tell us how much food you were given each day as you were carrying out this work? Well,
We were given 2 meals per day, and a can of rice was given to 2 workers, and the food was organized and distributed by the economic section, and the food was cooked elsewhere and was transported to the work site to give to the workers. That was to save time, so that the workers did not to go to where the food was prepared and cooked.
and so, excuse me, this amount of food, did it feel like enough, or did it feel like not enough? Were you hungry? Were you weak? Or did you feel okay?
Of course, the food was not enough. I don't want to talk much about this, but the food was not enough. You can imagine a can of rice for 2 workers, and sometimes it was not cooked rice that was given to us, but gruel, and other times gruel was actually watery. There were only a few pieces of rice in it.
Can you tell us something about the hygiene conditions at the work site?
Hygiene was problematic at the work site. Here I refer to how we relieve ourselves and the diseases that we contracted to, including dysentery. And that was the difficulty we experienced in terms of hygiene. The sleeping quarter was not a proper one, and the floor where we slept on was made of bamboo, and sometimes workers had to sleep directly on the ground. Not even the bamboo floor was given or was made available in the sleeping quarter. Some workers had hammock to sleep on. So the situation was difficult, and every worker had to find own means to sleep.
In your last answer, you mentioned diseases including dysentery. Can you give us a feel for how often the workers that you personally knew and worked with would get some kind of disease?
The food was not prepared according to the safety standard, and we simply ate what was given in order to fill our stomach. And we simply followed the flow. And for that reason, some workers, including myself, had dysentery. But there was nothing much that we could do. Nothing was made available to us in terms of hygiene.
Do you know anyone in your unit or otherwise who died of disease during their time at the work site?
Yes, people died from dysentery, and the death was the result of lack of medical treatment or medicine. And I myself knew at least one person died from dysentery. We could not have access to a hospital unless we had to leave the work site. There were medical units at the cooperatives, but there was no such access at the work site.
And going back to your work quota and your working hours, how often were you able to complete your work quota during the time allotted?
No, I it varied actually. Sometimes I could complete the work quota. At other time I could not, and for that I was criticized. But I tried my best to meet the work quota. And sometimes workers or those who completed their work quota earlier would assist members within the group who did not yet reach the quota. And as I said, when the time of the day went on, we became weaker and we could not put heavy load onto the baskets.
Mr. President, with the Chamber's leave, I'll now pass the floor to my national colleague.
National Deputy Co-Prosecutor, good afternoon, Mr. President, Your Honors, and everyone in around the courtroom, and Mr. Witness. Good afternoon. My name is Song Chavon. I'm a National Deputy Co-Prosecutor and I have some supplementary questions to put to you. You told the accord that you arrived in the Modern worksite in late 76, that is after the rice harvest, and that you remained on site until 1977. Could you please confirm as to which month or which period of the year that you remained in 1977? Answer. As I stated earlier, I cannot tell you the date. I can only remember the year, but not the day or the month. Question. So you remained at the work site in 1977. Was it, for example, before the Khmer New Year or after? Or was it during the rainy season of the year? Answer. It was in January 1977. When I refer to later 1976, that was after I harvested rice in December, and then I began working at the Pentmore Dam worksite in probably January 1977. And as I said, I had been in many work sites as part of the mobile unit. I harvested rice in Tmopu in late 76, and by early 77, I was assigned to work at the Pentmore Dam work site. Question: in order to make it clear regarding the period that you work at the Pentmore Dam work site, here I refer only to the time that you actually worked at the work site. How many months did you spend working at the Pentmore Dam work site? Answer. I was there during 1977 and I remained there until late 77, so I spent almost a whole year of 77 at the work site. Question. So during the period of almost a year that you were there, and you already said that there were many workers on site, could you just give us an estimate whether the workers were in hundreds, in thousands, or in 10,000s? Answer. I cannot give you the figure. However, people was everywhere and there were crowds of people along the embankment of the dam from the beginning to the end. And we were in different sections according to work assignment. And allow me to say, we worked in mobile units, and mobile units were from various sectors or from various cooperatives, and they worked on different sections of the Pentmore Dam embankment. So I cannot tell you the exact figure for that. Question. You already informed the chamber about the criticism meeting. Was such meeting held often, and when was it held? Answer. I actually informed the court already about such meetings. the meetings were held when the work plan was imposed, and the meetings were also held upon the end of the work plan. We were criticized, or members of the group criticized one another if we could not complete the quota. And the purpose of the criticism meeting was to reinforce the workload and to pay more attention to the work plan. Question: was such a meeting held on a daily basis, for example, at the end of the work shift in the evening? Or was it held fortnightly or monthly? Answer: the group or the unit meetings were held, and they varied depending on the urgency of the situation. During the demanding period, meetings were held rather often. Otherwise, they were held only when needed. Question: and who actually led the criticism meetings? Answer: the meetings were held within the group, subordinated to the unit, and then instructions were relayed to us. And that how the meetings went. And if members were inactive, then the members or such members were criticized. Question: so the group chiefs or the unit chiefs actually chairs the meetings, or the meetings were held only amongst the workers? Answer: it was the unit chief who actually chairs the meeting, and after that the group chief would reinforce the message from the unit chief, and that how the reinforcement was processed. That is from the unit chief to the group chief and to the members of the group. So usually the unit chief would reinforce the message within the unit, while the group chief reinforce such message in the group. And question: you mentioned about this special unit or Kong Karanai in Khmer. Can you elaborate a little bit further on this type of unit? Answer: the word Kong Karanai or special unit was formed, and I myself did not understand about the term that was used. However, members of the unit were those who were alleged of being stubborn, or who did or who committed mistakes, or who were inactive. So those who were not active in doing their works, or who were considered bad, would be removed and from the regular group and placed into that special unit. That's how I understand it. And the word the Khmer word that used was Karanai, or special case unit. So for those who were considered difficult workers, were put into that special case unit for being tempered. Question: And what did they do to those members of the so-called special case unit? Answer: workers who were assigned into this special case unit had to work hard as they were being tempered as part of the member of the unit. I myself did not belong to the special case unit, but I knew that if workers who were considered inactive would be removed from the regular group and put into the special case unit, and that they had to work harder in that special case unit. So, like it or not, if you were considered inactive, you would be assigned to work in the special case unit, and the work condition there was harder than the regular unit workload. Question: so the working condition was hardest in the special case unit as they were being tempered. Can you elaborate a little bit further on that? And I myself was not part of the special case unit. However, I was told about the working condition of the members in the special case unit. I was told that they had to work hard, much harder, and if we were to make a mistake, then we will be removed from our regular group and put into the special case unit. That's all I know, and I do not know any further details regarding the nature of the workload of the special case unit.
Co-prosecutor, thank you, Mr. Witness. Thank you, Mr. President. I conclude my line of questioning. I would like the chamber to give the floor to lead co-lawyer, President. The floor is now given to lead co-lawyers to put questions to this witness. You may now proceed. Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, judges and parties. I would like to ask the chamber to give the floor to Sun Sewon to put question to this witness. I would like to ask Mr. President, this afternoon we observed that there were objections by parties, so I would like to know how much time left for civil party lawyers. President, you have time from now on until 4 o'clock. No additional time for you.
ចាសូមអរគុណលោកប្រធាន
Civil party lawyer, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, judges and everyone in and around the courtroom. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. I am Sun Sewon, the civil party lawyer. I am representing civil parties in case 002. I have a few questions for you, so please respond to the question asked by me. First, I would like to know about Trapang Tmo Dam. When did the inauguration take place, and did you attend the inauguration ceremony? Answer: I did not attend the inauguration ceremony because I was the last one to be there. As for meetings or conferences, I attended those meetings. Once again, as for the inauguration, I did not attend it. I was not there when the inauguration took place. civil party lawyer, perhaps it is the conference that or meetings that you attended. Why workers, I mean fed workers, were required to attend the conferences and they were asked to stand in front of other workers? Why? What was the reason? Answer. I told the chamber already, every time the conference was held, there were many people there in that conference. And during the conference, only fed people were required to stand in the front lines. And as for me, I was thin and I had swollen disease. I was told to stand behind the fed workers. I was standing behind at that time. I was rarely allowed to stand in the front line. Question. I have other question I would like to ask you. Who chaired the conference? Answer. The conference was chaired by cadre from sector level. It was Tajil. Tajil presided over the conference. He addressed the attendees at the work site.
ចាអរគុណ
Lawyer, thank you. Who was Musambat? Do you know who this individual was? Answer. I do not know him personally. I heard people say that Musambat was chief of the zone. I overheard this from my work colleagues. I do not know his face. I do not know him personally. Lawyer, thank you. During the conference, did the speakers mention the reason the dam was built? Answer. The slogan was announced that certain tons of right yield needed to be achieved. This slogan was made and was announced to workers. And it was said that there was irrigation system, there was field for workers to work on. So the announcement and slogan was mentioned to workers to strive to work. Civil party lawyer. Now I would like to move to another topic concerning purging. Purging was conducted from top to the bottom levels. How did you know this? Answer. People, workers within units heard that purge would take place when the cadres from Southwest Zone came to replace the previous cadres. Disappearance could be seen. Unit chiefs started to disappear from time to time, and we ordinary workers started to fear after the disappearance of unit chiefs, and I heard that purge would be conducted from against the cadres from the top to the bottom. Disappearance happened at that time. Unit chiefs of big units or small units disappeared, and I realized that it was not a good situation at all. Units from Southwest Zone came to replace the previous cadres at my work site. Lawyer, thank you. You said that disappearance happened from time to time. Did they disappear from work? Or what do you mean by disappearance? Answer. They disappeared, and I could not see them. And members within the units never saw these people who had disappeared. Lawyer, thank you. I would like to ask about workers at Tropang Tmo Dam, including you. Were you allowed to rest on monthly basis or yearly? Answer. I did not have any resting time within my unit. After the dam had been built, we were required to patch the broken parts of the dams, and some people were assigned back to villages. After we were assigned to build a dam, we had to go and construct bridges. Lawyer, thank you. Did the work-related accident happen to workers at Tropang Tmo Dam? For example, were workers hit by the hose while soil was dug, or did a soil collapse happen to workers at Tropang Tmo Dam? Answer. During the time that I was working at Tropang Tmo Dam, I was one of the workers. Nothing happened, no work-related accident. Why I said that? Because we would try to prevent the dams to cause any problems to workers. If we found out that there would be broken parts on the dam, we would go and patch the broken parts in advance. I have no idea what happened within other units at other locations. Lawyer, thank you. I would like to ask you about workers at the work site, the Tropang Tmo work site. Were they happy to work at that Tropang Tmo dam? President, please wait, Mr. Witness. Mr. Cooper, you may now proceed. Please wait, Mr. Witness, said the President. You may now proceed, Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the witness can say whether he was happy. Maybe he can say something about his fellow unit members to whom he spoke and asked at the time whether they were happy. But surely he cannot say whether all 10,000 people were happy. So I think Council should limit her question to the actual knowledge of this witness.
ចា៎
Civil Party lawyer, Mr. President, I would rephrase my question. Were you happy to construct the Pangtmo Dam? Answer. I would like to tell the chamber, generally speaking, I was not happy. I never experienced such a work assignment, regardless the fact that I was satisfied with the assignment or not. I had to do it anyway. Lawyer, thank you. From your observation, were there any Chinese delegates or were there senior leader visiting the site, the Pangtmo Dam? Answer, yes, there were delegates visiting the dam. I noticed there were Chinese delegates. I rarely saw foreign or Chinese delegates coming to visit the dam site. At that time, I could see them at the work site taking photos of Topangtmo Dam. They were coming in vehicles. Lawyer. Were film shot at Topangtmo Dam? Answer. I do not know about the filming, whether or not it was shot. Lawyer, thank you. Now I would like to move to another topic, that is the forced marriage at Topangtmo work site. From your observation, and as you perhaps know, the construction of Topangtmo work dam started in late 1976 and completed in late 1997. From what you saw, did you observe were there middle-aged groups, women group, men group, and children groups there working at the dam site? But I would like to know about the forced marriage. Were forced marriage held at Topangtmo Dam? Answer, yes, there were marriages were held for many couples at that time, and we and the people who were going to get married did not know whom they were going to get married. Lawyer, thank you. You have just stated that there were many couples in the wedding. How many couples were there in that wedding? Answer. At that time, I did not get married, and I did not know how many couples were there were at the wedding. Lawyer, thank you. From your observation, and you have told the court about what happened. Some people did not know each other and had never seen each other before they got married. And couples were paired up. Did they have courage to refuse the couple that they were selected before? Answer: yes, the marriage was forced, but for instance, a man loved a woman, but this man did not dare to say he loved the woman, and this woman was forced to get married with another man. So this man could not get married and live with that woman, the woman that he loved. Marriage was mostly forced for the couples. I want to say that the marriage was held, and after the marriage they did not know where to go and spend time together because it was dark in the night after the marriage. Lawyer, you stated that the newlywed would confuse their future husband or wives. Did you mean that the marriage take place at night time? Witness: yes, the marriage took place at night time. Lawyer, after the marriage, what happened to those who refused to consummate their marriage? Answer: after the wedding or marriage, if the newlywed were not satisfied with each other, and if they refused to consummate the marriage, they would risk their lives because it was against the decision of Angka. Angka made the selection for them, and if they dare to refuse spending time together, they would risk their lives. If the woman refused to spend time together with the husband, something would happen on her. That is, she would risk her life. Lawyer, you stated that if the newlywed refused the consummation of their marriage, they would risk their life. So could you clarify, were the newlywed under watch after their marriage at night time? Answer: actually, surveillance was conducted at that time, and they really wanted to know whether the newlywed got along with each other, and the female people would be understood by their colleagues, female colleagues, that she did not spend time with the husband, and the same applied to male workers. Lawyer, from your observation, after men and women were paired up and got married, was there any militiaman conducting surveillance over the newlywed or the new couples who had just got married? Answer: I am not able to tell you because, as I said, I did not get married at that time. Mic is not activated. President, you may now resume your line of questioning, civil party lawyer. Civil party lawyer, I would like to resume my line of questioning. From your observation, did you ever see rape happening after the marriage, the forced marriage at Trapang Thmo Dam work site? Answer. I never witnessed any rape, and I do not know about rape. President, there may be system glitch. There was no translation in French. President, you may now resume your line of questioning, civil party lawyer. Wait, civil party lawyer. Lawyer for Kyusampon Antaguse, you may now proceed.
J'en profite pour rebondir sur
Yes, I would like to go back on the last question. Or the last question, I mean, the witness has already answered, but I believe that it was not relevant. The question was not relevant.
ចាសូមអរគុណ
Civil party lawyer, thank you. I want to continue asking question about the visit of delegates. Besides the Chinese delegate visiting and filming, taking photo at the dam work site, were there senior leaders visiting the dam work site? Answer. I have no idea who the senior leader were. I noticed there were vehicles at that time. Civil party lawyer, thank you. Now you have seen Mr. Kyusampon. In the past, he was young. Could you tell the court whether you noticed he was there visiting the dam work site? President, please wait. Mr. Witness Antaguse, you may now proceed.
I don't know if I even need to raise an objection. It's obvious. The witness said he didn't know who senior leaders were. He did not know if someone came to visit. And now my colleague said, did you see Mr. Kyusampon? I don't even need to make a comment. I have an objection. And if this is the type of examination that we're going to be listening to, perhaps she could go straight to the point, as there is very little time left.
សូមអរគុណ
Civil party lawyer, thank you very much. I conclude my line of questioning. That was the last question from me earlier. President, Mr. Witness, you are instructed not to respond to the question. Mr. Kope, to allow the chamber to make a decision on the requests made by you in relation to DCCAM documents. The chamber require you to provide a list of the document with your numbers to the senior legal officer this afternoon, so that the chamber can have a proper list of documents and can decide on your request tomorrow.
Mr. President, that was already ready. Within 5 minutes, you have the email with the attachment. So we were already preparing it, and within the next 5 or 10 minutes, you will have that email with attachment.
President, thank you then. You may now proceed, Judge Lavanya.
Mr. Leving's microphone is not turned on. Mr. Kuppe, can you tell us if one of the relevant documents is E353.1, there's a document that makes, because that document, which refers to the DCCAM documents, does not have ERNs or E3 numbers that may have been attributed to these documents. And that is why we need a bit more information.
I'm sorry, could you I have all 66 documents here with all the numbers. Could you be so kind and repeat the number that you just said? Did you just...
Pour,
Well, perhaps I can help clarify the matter. My colleague said that his document is being prepared. They have done research. His defense team has done research with the names that are on this document that you just quoted. And so they looked into Xylab for the names that correspond to statements, and we could see that these statements were only available in one language but had an E3. So this is not a document that is listed in the document that you just mentioned, but rather a document that is prepared by the Nuncia defense team. So that's why I will interrupt and do it and say it in French so you can understand. This is a list that the Nuncia defense is preparing. Judge Laverne. Yes, but I will note that we need an entire hearing day to have an idea of the request that the chamber is seized with.
Here is the document that we are about to send to you. It's an overview of all 66 DCCAM statements, all with the original E305 number and all with the subsequent E3 number. And in the next column, we have indicated which ones are translated into English, which is only 13 out of 66. So you will have, as I said, in the next 5 minutes, this Excel overview with the documents which are translated into another language.
President, thank you, Council. It is now time for the adjournment, and the Chamber will adjourn from now on. The hearing will resume tomorrow, 29th of July 2015 at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, the Chamber will continue to hear witness Mom Suum, and after which the Chamber will hear 2TCW 866 in relation to Kampong Chnang Airport or work site. Please be informed and please be on time. Thank you very much, Mr. Mom Suum. The hearing of your testimony as a witness has not come to an end yet. You are therefore invited to be here again at 9 a.m. tomorrow. You may now be accused. Court officer, please work with a vessel to send this witness back to the place where he is staying at the moment, and please invite him back into the courtroom tomorrow at 9 a.m. Security personnel are instructed to bring Mr. Kisampon and Nguyen Chia back to the detention facility of the ECCC, and please bring them back tomorrow at 9 a.m. The court is now adjourned.